Okay, so Friday we had absolute Armageddon on the stock markets. 3 trillion wiped off the US stocks in one day. Massive. It's already S&P is in correction territory. Everything's really bad. But the S&P is still at 5,600, which is absolutely insane. 5,000 was only broken a few months ago, and I even remember when 4,000 was broken, a few, 2, 3 years ago, so not very much. So it's literally gone up like this. So this is a tiny little blip correction. Now, what is really going on around here? So obviously it's because of they think the US is going into recession, and the unemployment went up from 3.5% to 4.1%. I mean, 4.1% back in the day would have been a miraculous number. So something is going on here that doesn't fit understanding. And I just want to go through what's been happening. So the government has basically printed tons of money. 80% of all US dollars were printed from 2020 to 2021. So they pumped in a huge amount of money into the system. Some went in, everyone went, it was squirreled away in many different places, but slowly it found itself back in the system. That caused inflation. Now, the other bits still stuck in other areas, didn't know what to do with it. So they went into the US stock market, right? That's essentially what all the money has gone into, pumping up ridiculous bubbles. So we've had the meatless meat junk, and I've seen companies actually invest in this, actually invest in plants to create the chemicals for meatless meat. I mean, knowing this is the most stupid thing ever, they did it. The net zero junk, the windmills, the wind farms, the solar farms, all bankrupt, all needing government subsidies, will never be able to make profit. The cost to even repair these things is off the scale. Waste of money. Next one, the EVs. Yeah, the EV bonanza, you remember that one? Again, totally collapsed. No one's buying them. And if they are, people are buying Chinese because they're half the price, same quality. Why would you buy the stupid European ones for like 100,000 euro for all these ones? Absolutely stupid. So EV dump, stupidity went through the roof. That went with all the SPACs, all the tech SPACs, which was in 2021, which was anything with tech in it, went through the roof. Cybersecurity, data manipulation, database, whatever it was, all collapsed, 90% down. And the latest one is obviously AI, the absolute ridiculous stupidity. There is no AI, so let's not pretend. It's just faster chips or whatever. It's not there. The technology is not there. And so people have been comparing it to the railway boom. So they said a lot of money was put in the 1840s, putting money into building railways all over the country. You know, there were even 3 lines between Liverpool and like Manchester or something in England. 3 lines, imagine. Obviously, there weren't the amount of passengers there. You don't need 3 lines as well. You only need 1. And that is where we are with AI investment. People are just buying it, putting in servers here, there, and everywhere, buying all the chips. And obviously, no one needs it. It's a stupid product. It doesn't do what it says on the tin, and it's just pointless. So, another collapse guaranteed to occur there. There is one caveat that will hold it up, and that's NVIDIA is a monopoly, and that's because the US has made it a monopoly. Really, obviously, the Chinese, Huawei, was always way ahead of it. 5G way ahead. Everything was way ahead, and they had to ban it, right? Because they can't take competition. So NVIDIA does have that supporting it. That even if AI turns out to be a flop, as it's a monopoly, it joins a long list of monopolies of Amazon and Alphabet, which is Google, and Microsoft. A long list of the monopolies which will make huge profits because they're monopolies, right? And entrenched by the government. And Meta, Facebook as well. So all of those will always go up. Okay, so you have nothing to worry about there. I think a bit of, NVIDIA a bit frothy, but I don't think obviously it's not going to crash down because it's a monopoly, right? Until that stops, until it's allowed some competition, which will never happen because the governments are all bought by the corporations now. There's no democracy either. So yeah, you will be fine. The big tech will be fine. Now, going into Housing will always go up. Remember that. There is no housing crash. It can never happen. The governments will do everything they can to support it. So that's the other thing. Regarding this supposed recession, again, there'll never be a recession, because officially what the government will do is, firstly, they manipulate the numbers, so they pretend that inflation is very low, and when you take GDP, you're meant to subtract inflation. Well, in that case, we would have been in recessions for the last 15 years, but because they use a fake inflation statistic, GDP always goes up. Okay, so again, you have to understand, because they manipulated the data, that's why we haven't had recessions in years. It's not because it doesn't happen. We've been in one. We've been in the most protracted recession in history. People's living standards have collapsed, but you won't see it in their fake data because they use fake data. That's all you need to know. What else? What else have we got? Now, will there be even with their fake data, recession? If it is, it'll be extremely mild. US Fed is going to start cutting rates. Obviously, that will definitely give a boost. And yeah, I think they'll come and save it. I don't think we're going to have a big recession. No, not at all. If it is, if any, to be honest, because they just use the fake data, and they just stimulus and cut interest rates, and it's all fun and games, guys. So, final assessment: the latest tech fads are going away. So all these, Nvidia will come down a bit, but the Magnificent Seven, well, it's really Magnificent Six. We'll take out Tesla, which is a giant flop. Take that out, everything still keeps going up because they're monopolies. Housing still goes up. Recession probably will be avoided, and if it isn't, it's very mild. Interest rates getting cut, and everyone's lives getting worse and worse and worse, and more difficult, and people struggling, and nothing being done about it because they just lie all day long. Have a great day.